Every year, Eseye, we release a predictions report, and it's actually the #1 downloaded piece of collateral from our website. And this year, the report that was just released talks about the #1 trend for 2024 will be the movement of the control, the intelligence to the edge, which means in IoT, the device, and in particular the optimization of the firmware with the components inside the device, with the switch to deliver higher and higher levels of connectivity. And by that I mean 99.5% and beyond. So in our view, the big trend for 2024 is the movement of intelligent IoT to the edge and the importance of the device. When you think about the movement of intelligence to the edge, one of the big things that we have to solve in the IoT industry is all the different standards that exist there. So for instance, you have SGP02, and I'm talking about the standards to get the IMSI into the device. In the consumer world, we've had SGP22, and now a lot of companies in IoT, a lot of MVNOs in particular, are talking about SGP32. But SGP32 isn't yet ratified by the GSMA. But it's been touted as this solution to everything, where the IMSI can be drawn down from multiple operators, and so now you have global connectivity. Technically, that still doesn't work. It's still PowerPoint in many cases. It will work, and what we need to solve as an industry is to be able to use technologies, standards like SGP32, to provide ubiquitous, global, agnostic connectivity across all the operators. I think that's going to be a really big focus going forward for the IoT players. I think the adoption of AI in IoT will be slower than in some areas, but it will happen if you look at where the switch is going to be located. And what I mean by that is that for 40 years, with a proprietary SIM locked by the operators, the switch, the RSP, the choice of which network you localize on your roaming agreements, was controlled by the MNO. Over the last 5 or 6 years, the switch has moved up one level to the MVNO. The MVNO controls the switch between the operators. But what's happening now is the switch is moving into the device. The device is becoming more intelligent. And then when you think about what AI could do, if you could look at not only what multi-RAT options are available, so not just cellular, but other types of connectivity, and then analyze more granular network data like signal strength and latency, then AI can play a role in optimizing connectivity for millions of devices at the same time, which is something a human being couldn't do. So my prediction is that AI will come in around intelligent switching in the device using network level data. So when you look at enterprises and what they want, large enterprises in particular want a single SKU with a single eSIM for global connectivity. And the reason they want that is because they save millions of dollars on their manufacturing, on their distribution, on their warranty. However, that has been very, very difficult up till now. And what they are achieving, and we did a big survey of over 1,000 companies in this area, what we found is that less than 5% of people are actually getting more than 98% connectivity on a global basis. And that 2% is hugely important. Now at Eseye, what we've done is taken a different approach. Rather than just rely on pure roaming, we have what we call our federation, which is essentially like the Star Alliance in the airline industry. So we have 16 interconnects with 16 operators where we can localize OTA, over the air, the connection to that operator, and we get access to all their roaming agreements. So think of it like 16 Venn circles on a big Venn diagram. The net effect is that we have 3 or 4 paths to every device, anywhere, globally. So when the question is asked, what do you need to do to get to 99%, 99.5%, 5 nines as the Holy Grail, you've got to have more paths to the device, which means that you've got to bring together all of the operators into a virtualized switch in the cloud. That's what we're doing with our AnyNet Federation, And we believe it's only with a model like that, which is abstracted and agnostic, you can actually get towards that holy grail of 5 nines connectivity for every device, in every location, at every time. Traditionally, a lot of the players in the IoT industry, particularly the operators, and for many of the MVNOs, they really were selling connectivity. They were selling connectivity, SIMs plus data. In fact, most MVNOs, when you go to their website, the first thing you see is how many SIMs do you want, how much data do you want, price. The problem with that is that's a volume play. When you look at the complexities of implementing an IoT project, particularly when you have to start off by optimizing the device to get very high levels of connectivity, you actually need professional services, which traditionally isn't the domain of many of these companies. Many of them don't even have professional services capabilities. So end-to-end services, end-to-end professional services are hugely important if you start, as we do at Eseye, with the device and then go on a journey to full deployment. And so what we do is we always start with the device and we always start with professional services. And we guide customers through a journey of how to optimize the device, the architecture, the platform, the cloud integration to deliver the business outcome. So I believe the IoT industry will mature and become more like traditional IT, where that sort of model is perfectly normal. People have always done that, always had professional services to help customers absorb technology. I think IoT is going through that maturity, and I think we'll see more value-based plays in the industry where people lead with a services-led relationship that pulls through connectivity at the back end. One of the big initiatives that we are pushing in 2024 is to move intelligence to the edge. So for example, we recently released an offering called Smart Connect. Smart Connect is essentially like Twilio was for the smartphones. If you look at what happened with smartphones, the monetization was always going to come from the applications, but the people who wrote the applications didn't know how to do omni-channel communication. They didn't know how to put text, phone calls, video, WhatsApp into their app. So Twilio came up with a set of APIs that would pre-program that for them, so they used Twilio to create their app and bring it to market. Smart Connect is the same thing, but for connectivity for devices. So when you design a device, you need to design the connectivity in at the beginning, not add it later on. So Smart Connect is the pre-coded, pre-packaged logic and intelligence for connectivity, not just cellular, but also multi-RAT connectivity for devices, regardless of what module that you're using, what components or what sensors. So one of the things that we want to do is deploy Smart Connect out in the industry so that people can bring devices to market quicker and get connectivity, get the use case, the business benefits from them quickly. So we're moving to a device SaaS model, not just relying on resale of data as part of our financial model. And we think that is needed because intelligence, 80% of applications and data are going to the edge in IT in general. That's going to happen with IoT. Intelligence is going to move to the edge, but you need edge applications that understand IoT connectivity, and that's an area we'll be pushing on quite a lot in 2024.